almost made it outside. Still in the house. Not out on the water. Still a little too cold today. I mean, I could actually be out fishing if the water's even thawed out. I haven't even talked to Charles. Charles, if you jump on here and start watching this video, how's the water down south? Is it thawed out yet? So today's little video, I want to talk about these bluegill skirts. Some I've already kind of weeded out of the competition myself just because I don't want to have to hassle with messing with 9 different colors, and some I already know I don't like. Talk about a new color over here. Thanks to Brew Tanks, got my mind turning about a Fireball Chaturbate. So Fireball is, you guys know Fireball. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But then also on just in general, if you guys know, the search continues forever trying to find that perfect trailer, because one of the chatterbaits have their whole controversy over jackhammers. Like if you really start watching YouTube videos anyway, every year, after an iCast or some new bait pops out, jackhammer, is this the end of the jackhammer? This is going to take out the jackhammer. The Japanese baits are taking out the and all the whole hoopla that always goes on about, the best chatterbaits, but then there's also, of what trailer to put behind a jackhammer. So I'm going to tell you my favorite. Those of you that know the channel, you know what I'm talking about, but some of you, you may be on this video looking for, first time chatterbaiters or first time really diving into it, like you've thrown some here and there and you're like wanting to get a little more in-depth with chatterbaits. So I'll give you my take on that. And that's kind of bait wise. I don't really want to talk about, do we want to talk about peanut butter and jelly jigs? No. I want to give you a rundown on my rod and reel combos and the good, the bad, the ugly so far on some of these new ones that I've got. Haven't even made it to the water to fish them. I've already got some I'm disappointed in. Others I'm not. And so I thought we'd go. Hello, Octagon. Are you related to Bruce Lee? Enter the Octagon. Anyway, so where do we want to start? I want to start with the chatterbaits? No. Let's start with my rod and reel combos, because that's what I was just out there doing. I was doing a little cast testing, and I'm just going to jump to the bad right off the bat. The reel that I was kind of out there trying to fix, and there's really nothing wrong with it. And once you get it and cast it, you'll see that it casts very well. But the Hyper Mag, I was like, why are they clearing these out? This reel just came out not long ago. And I thought, well, $350 is a chunk of money for this reel. But I thought, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like they had these up at Rogers for $199. So I think they had like 2 left. I bought one. I'm like, I'm not buying both. I'll just buy one. I mean, $200. And they had this rod I bought like a month before for $100. I like the rod, honestly, way better than the reel. It's not that I hate the reel, but it's noisy. And I wish I would have. I don't know if I wouldn't have bought it kind of thing. Maybe I wouldn't have. But once I started watching, if you guys know the controversy going on with Scott Martin, it popped up on my feed, so I was watching that, and then so I jumped to Scott Martin's channel and was watching one of his videos, and I guess I didn't even realize he was sponsored by Luz. Last I knew, he was still with oh shoot, Okuma. That horrible reels. I've never fished one. I just don't like the looks of them. Sorry, Cast King lovers and Okuma lovers. Cast King reels, I have tried those. I'm not a fan of Cast King. Their reels, I'm not a fan, and that's what they mainly started out with. Now they're, I guess, in a few other things. And I've never been a fan of Okuma just for strictly how cheap and just the looks of an Okuma and the Cast Kings compared. They look at these Chinese reels. You guys know the deal if you follow the channel. So I didn't even know Scott Martin was sponsored by Luz and had some Luz stuff when I was watching him cast this reel. It was making that same exact crazy loud noise, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I'd have watched this video before I bought that reel, because that noise kind of gets annoying, and I can't really make the noise in here for you guys, but I will just show you the breaks and show you what I did to try to stop it. It didn't work, but so it's kind of the old style Abugar. Well, Shimano, I don't know who started this, but basically having the pads that pop out and, you know, centrifugal force braking system. Shimano is probably the best at it. Abu Garcia, the older style ones, which Luz and Abu Garcia are all Doyo reels, it's quiet. I've had a couple of the ones, and almost every Shimano, like, they're quieter in casting. This reel here just makes a noise. It just is one of those annoying, like if you've ever had a spool bearing that just is noisy. It's not that it's horrible or whatever. It'll start making a noise, and you're like, okay, that bearing needs changed out. It's kind of like that annoying noise. It's not that. It's a different noise on itself. But I came in, and I'll show you the paperwork, but it tells you to lightly do this with the speed lube. They've included this and that. But I did that. Didn't work. I put oil on everything in there. Everything that moves, I basically oiled. I'm like, well, maybe it's chattery or something. Maybe it just needs, something. Anyway, I completely lubed this thing up. The only thing I know to do to try to quiet down more than that would be to literally pop those little things out and grease them, like pack grease and everything, and then maybe turn the brakes up. But the reel cast amazingly. It's as good as any of my other reels as far as the casting performance, but it makes noise while it's doing it. And it's just, I know, maybe I'm being too picky, but it's kind of annoying to me. And I'll talk about this combo, where it fits in my lineup. I'll be honest, though. This reel right here is what I had on that rod before I went and picked up that Luz. That new Tatula, way better of a reel in my opinion. It's heavier. But if you guys follow the channel, I put drag clickers in both of them. I added 2 bearings up here, so I did do that differently. But this thing comes with the hyperdrive, the boost spool, the basically tried and true Mega Bass. I keep calling Mega Bass instead of Daiwa. The proven Daiwa, basically the air rotor system that's developed into all the other stuff, but it's basically the rotor that pops out that's been around forever, and they've updated it to the boost and all that kind of stuff. But this reel, that reel will do everything this reel will do also, but it's just a quieter, more solid filling everything. Like if I had to say, like if you handed me both these, well, after I've tinkered with them, if you handed me both these reels and I didn't know the labeling on them, what they were, I would think this was built for like a Super Duty and probably would be more expensive than the other reel. But it's just a Tatula. Palms, probably just as good. It's a heavier reel. But roughly, I've got probably the same money in both of them. And I'm tempted to put the Tatula back on that reel, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that reel. But I'm going to go fish it and just see if the noise, it may just be me out here being nitpicky once I get out on the water fishing, and it may not be a big deal. So I'm going to go through roughly, I think I've kind of went through my arsenal once before, but we've added some to it, and I think I just went through in like light to heavy or heavy to light one way or the other. I'm going to try to go through in my least favorite to my favorite, for those of you new to the channel and those of you that are still you like to look at rod and reels, right? So, my least favorite, I will just have to put at the one I just had. Almost had. This is my least favorite reel as of right now. Not my least favorite rod, so to speak, but technically this would make this my kind of least favorite. And I'll show you one right next to it because I just had it. Now, I haven't fished a Luz rod or that reel yet. So that combo hasn't been fished, but there's one coming up that I thought this would be a good, alternative to go kind of with it, but it's like a night and day difference, even though it's more expensive, but anyway. So I'll have to go with the other one I just showed you. because if you follow the channel, the last one of the out fishing, and I did a little talk, this rod, and it's an awesome rod. The X Pride 610 medium, I just don't use it enough for the way I fish. And what I probably should do is, instead of worrying about, I was kind of just using it for jerk baits. I probably needed to utilize it. I think it would be better for just crankbaits and then jerk baits too. But it's I mean, that's an awesome combo. It's pretty good with any reel. I had the Steez limited on it, actually, and was still my least favorite combo back then. I only had like 5 combos, though, a couple, what, year and a half ago or however long. So moving along, let's keep the show going. My next, man, this got me thinking now. Oh, I know. And it's not because I don't love this rod and reel. It's because how big it is and just how limited it is on one side of the spectrum. And sorry, boys and girls, but this Tequila Baccarat with that Steez HLC, just a combination of, it's a big tank of a, for me anyway. For a lot of guys, it's probably nothing special, but this is the biggest I run kind of thing. So awesome. I guess I should have talked about what I use each combo for. The Lose is just going to be kind of one of those do everything ones, and like I talked about, the 610 medium X Pride is kind of jerk baits, but you know, any kind of cranks with them smaller trebles before you get to BFS is what the X Pride is good for. This is at the whole other end of the spectrum. The biggest swim baits I throw, the biggest chatterbaits I throw, the biggest, because of the P5 blank, allows you to kind of also work moving baits. Like once you get into the 3/4 ounce rattle traps, or you know, with the bigger hooks, I'm not scared to throw it on this if I needed to. Like, but it's primarily big jigs and swim baits and like soft swim baits, but you know, swim baits in general, just the big stuff. I guess I should have showed you it's upside down, but for those of you that don't know, this thing F7 7 foot is rated all the way from 3/4 to 4 ounces. So it does kind of start. I throw half ounce. It'll throw. Let me check the tip. I can't really show you in camera. It'll throw half ounce stuff, but like a half ounce something with a plastic on it. So any of your half ounce jigs, if they got a big hook, or you know, like I'm gonna throw the bigger, like this Thunder Cricket 5/8, probably any of these with that bigger taller hook, like the original Z-Man, the Big Blade, your big spinner baits, any of that kind of stuff. This rod is actually a very versatile rod. It just starts out up there, you know. So then, whoa, my BFS rods won't move. Oh boy, what's next? So we got my 3 least favorite out of the way. They're all 3 actually excellent combos. Now it's getting a little tougher. It's getting a little harder. Oh man, it is. It's tough now. Oh boy. Honestly, I don't know. Wow. Probably this guy. I'm going to go to the other extreme. And this is a very expensive combo, but I have to go here because this is my Conquest. It's only 6'6". I wish it was 6'8", but they don't even, I don't even think they make a 6'8" in this power. But this was on clearance. I got a deal on it. Everything's upside down. Sorry about that. 1/4 to 5/8, and it will 8 to 14 pound. I'm going to run probably 10 pound. Right now, I think that is 20. That may be 10. I can't tell for sure, but the plan is I just had, you know, whatever was on that reel, I've kept on it so I can get out, and I think that's 20 actually. The plan is 10 pound braid to a 10 pound leader, and it will just handle all those little bitty moving type stuff. I was just using that to cast test. It won't be, I'll show you the other right here shortly that kind of bait's intended for, but the littlest chatterbaits, like if I'm going to try, I haven't really tried this rod out either. I just have what I think it's for because I'll show you the tip because I can on this one. It's been so crazy. But this thing bends like very easy and very far. It's a I call it like a BFS rod on steroids. It's got all the looks and feel of a BFS rod until you load it up, and once that bend, what I call catches, it goes whoop, and it's a stout rod. Like it'll handle the weight that it says on that. So awesome rod, but my next in line and my least favorite. So I think I have 11 or 12 total here. Just in case you're wondering, like, oh my God, when's this guy going to get done? So my next in line would have to be, oh man, sorry to say this, but man, this rod, it just always ends up not placing higher than it should. But I'm going to have to put it, as of right now, another excellent rod, my Poison Adrena. I don't know why I can't make myself just put this higher up in the listings, because this is probably my favorite rod to go out and do everything with. It's lightweight. Oh, by the way, I've also balanced everything. So this is like a do-it-all everything. Lightweight, capable of, let me show you. It's very small and it's upside down, of course. 1/4 to 1 ounce. I don't know about 1 ounce, but this thing, I believe, no, I think I may have caught a bigger chatterbait fish on something else, but I've caught a giant fish in the chatterbait. I believe it was the Mini Max. I've caught a lot of fish using, I like this still for rattle traps. It's not as sensitive as I feel it needs to be, is why I guess I don't have it higher up my list, but an awesome combo. That Revo MG Extreme 2. I guess I will show you this just because it's the other one with the braking system. So this is an older, I bought it brand new, like old stock from Rogers, but it came out years ago, basically the same kind of style as a Lose that's loud, but this thing is the opposite. Quiet. Now, I don't think that Lose and this one are probably on the tail end of the casting of the reels I own now. Still, fling baits out there, cast as far as you want to cast, but if I had to, what's the worst style breaking I have at the moment, it would probably be this and then that Lose, the centrifugal type breaking. But that's kind of what also puts it there, because that Abu Garcia is a little, what I call slightly older technology on the reels. So next up, wow. I got to put it all the way to there. I can't put that. Okay, so next up, oh man, I got a tie. I don't even know where we're at, what number wise, but until I get them out and fish them, I've got 2 combos that I have not fished there. So right now it's a tie. I 100% assure you, once I hit the water, do I have what for northern pike? Chatterbaits? You can throw any chatterbait. Pike will hit any of them chatterbaits, but probably big and bright. I'd suggest if I went fishing for pike, I would grab some big blades. I would probably run a steel leader and hope for the best. And probably the bluegill color, the white one with the silver head. And then probably those 2 you would be covered for maybe that intense bright, like a thunder cricket. Thunder tigers. Like the tiger craw type pattern. All right, stop asking me questions. You're confusing me. All right, I got to do it. I got to do it because I have not fished them, so I'm going to try to grab both of these without knocking everything over and show you guys the tie. As of right now, I'm going to have to put these 2. No, wait. Hold everything. These 2 aren't. I'm going to actually put something in between these 2. So to split up, I've got 2 rods that are very similar, but my next one is actually going to have to not be these 2. It's going to be this one. Not because of this is probably the fanciest setup I have, but and it's more specific. It's why it's not going up the ranks in my favorites, is because I got it for like a specific purpose. But this thing is sweet. That's the new Steez, and that's the 802 though. So that 802 is, the fact that they are on the lighter spectrum on the far edges is why I have them lower in my lineup, because although versatile for like throwing a lot of soft plastic, bottom bouncing, small jigs, it's basically, this one is ranks lower because it's jig worm. And I have tried the NRXs that are for like moving bait. They're just not as good for sensitivity though, for what I'm going to use it for. 6'8", very 1/8 to 3/8, so that 10 to 14. This is also going to have 10-pound to 10-pound leader. If I decided to run a drop shot, it'd be on this. If I decide to run shaky heads and TRDs and a little bitty jigs, any of that stuff is going to be on this combo. But this is an excellent combo. Probably the Conquest or this one's probably my lightest, like combos that are capable still of handling some, stuff. But I have to put it before these next two, not because of the two brands, but just because of it's kind of on the light end of the spectrum and the niche thing. So I know somebody's gonna be like, I would never put that below these other two you're gonna show right now, but I have to. This is for the losers out there. You guys know what I'm talking about. For the losers out there, and I guess anybody that loves Dobbins rods, I had to come to the conclusion that these two are a tie so far. This is a complete new Elite TI combo, and this is the Dobbins with the new Lose reel. 7 foot, kind of a heavy, more or less, 704. Not really a true heavy, but it's heavier than a medium heavy in my opinion. But awesome combo so far. Feeling, casting, checking the actions overall on what the blanks feel like. I think I'll be able to do a lot with this combo. But this combo also feels, it's right there with it. Now this is the 6'10" medium heavy. So this is definitely a touch on the lighter, just a little shade down, but like the spectrum, it'll move. It feels kind of like that Poison Adrena, roughly on its power. It maybe I've got it just a touch up above the Poison Adrena, and this is where that Lose with the Hypermag is kind of in that area, but I think it's even a touch softer. This one should be more sensitive. So this one and this one, both of these, I should be able to throw moving baits, bottom bouncing baits for the sensitivity. A lot of guys claim these are raw. I have not fished the newer style. I had the older version, 9-10 years old one, I don't know how, yeah. So it was very, back then, it was the most sensitive, the highest end rod I had, and it was awesome. So I'm sure that I think there's a touch better, or maybe the same blank technology as what they had back then, the Torre, whatever, high modular stuff. But this one, out there just casting them around, and what I can kind of tell on sensitivity, as much as you can tell when you're just casting in your yard, I think both of these will be very awesome combos, just the way they are. If I had to pick one that I'm more enthused about, this one because of the reel, but I'm also I think this may have a slight tick up on rod capabilities. This one, because I think it feels more of the notch above my Super Destroyer, which you're getting ready to see if you are wondering where my P5s are. So I think it's just a tick maybe heavier than the Super Destroyer, is why if I had to pick one of these, like I got to go fishing right now, I would take this. If I had to go fishing to cross a wider variety going down to lower stuff, it would probably not be this. It would probably be this one. Both reels seem to be. I like this reel better, and it's more expensive. But this reel, I like it too. Seems very good. I added drag clickers to both these and the Hyper Mag also. They don't come with drag clickers. But for those of you that have never watched me engage, that one is better than this one. And I guess I do know why, but I don't know why. You know what? Actually, this one sounds better right now in here in the acoustics, but I think I'd still technically like that one a little better. But awesome combos. I tell you right now, I don't think that either one of these are going to let me down on what they're going to do. So hang on, let me set these down without banging around. And I just be honest, guys. Be careful when you're jacking around with your rods and you're not out fishing. That is when I do all my damage to all my stuff. I get jacking around. That's when you'll throw it in a ceiling fan, jab it up against something, break a tip. You'll drop it in the reel, it gets scratches that it shouldn't have, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, what do we got left? 1 minute here. This is complicated. Brew Tank started this when he was asking me back when if I had to pick one. Will it end up, will my favorite from a year and a half ago still be my favorite? Probably not. So I'm going to have to go, yeah, it's going to have to be this one. This one is right in the middle of those other two rods I just grabbed. It's going to have to be this one because there's only two left after it. This is an awesome combo right here. Super Destroyer, Steve's Limited, Shallow Spool. Crazy Lou's Lady gave us this handle that matches the handle you just saw on the Elite. I added this funky, nasty colored star. Don't hate me for it. I'm still trying to make myself like it. Probably going to go just put the stock one right back on. But this combo, I think it's definitely lighter. Well, with the Steez, it's a way more expensive reel, but it's a little shorter, a little lighter, but just as mean, if not probably meaner than those other two I just showed you. And they fit. It kind of fits in between that heavy. It may actually be. It's just that P5. It may be just me feeling like it is a little softer than that Dobbins, but it may be right there even or even better until I really get out there fishing and actually start catching fish on it. But 6'9", quarter to I think that says 1 1/4 ounce. But this Super Destroyer, it's built by Megabass, in case you didn't know. This thing, and that dude I take, Chris Zaldane, had nothing to do with that, as far as I know, is what I hear. But I learned you definitely do not want dry skin. Dry hands, these feel slick. Once you are properly medicated, that's fine. Like right now, I'm grabbing this, and you're good to go. The good thing about this is kind of like cork or some of these good materials that once you do get, whether it be sweaty or just water, now drench it, it's going to get slick, but just a little bit of moisture, or as long as your hands aren't dry, it's got a good feel to it. So first video I was putting this up against, I believe it was the Poison Adrena, and I was dogging this reel seat in the handle, and I'm like, oh God, just like, but I don't know. I got used to it. Definitely, as of right now, my favorite one for like the bigger stuff. I like it over, like I mentioned, the Tequila Baccarat. I can throw almost everything but the biggest of my swim baits with the Super Destroyer. I can fling out some pretty big swim baits. I can do, all the big jigs, all that kind of stuff. I should be able to do that with the Dobbins also. Maybe not with the Elite I just showed you. Okay, so dun dun dun. I think I'm only down to 2 rods and reels. And wow. I'm going to pick, just because, the best reel to come out in 50 years, and the fact it's more versatile. Number 2, that is going to definitely be my favorite combo for all of the smaller jigs, like the Super Destroyers on this end for all my bottom bouncing, the bigger stuff. The this right here, this combo is gonna, I know it's gonna be my favorite. And I haven't fished this rod yet. I fished one just like it, the NRX, not the NRX Plus, just like that other NRX. I know what to expect from these. Crazy sensitivity for bottom stuff, whether it be soft plastic jigs. Not the greatest for moving baits is why this one is below the other one I'm getting ready to show you. But why it's above all the others is just because of what it is. It's a Steve's Limited shallow spool. It's an NRX Plus. The fact that it is that 803, they call it medium heavy. I don't know if I'd still go to medium heavy, but yes, it is capable of handling. It can handle its own for as crazy light and small as it is. But that is an awesome combo. And yeah, if you just follow along, like I made these knobs myself, cutting down the Go Maxis ones for somebody's like, what in the world is that? And no, I don't sell them those. I got 2 sets of them. One set's kind of funky. Did I show you that? No, I haven't showed you. You'll see. Anyway, this has to go number 2 for the fact that I've tried when I first had the NRXs, and I'll probably try it with these. You know, I'll throw a chatterbait on every rod you've seen so far. A chatterbait will be thrown on it at some point in time. Just rest assured. But back when I had my other 803, I tried to turn that into a chatterbait rod. You'll go back and watch the videos and hear me and Charles, and I'm cussing, and Charles is like, stop throwing them on that. But it just, the hookup and land ratio, I think due to the fact that it loads up so quick in the backbone, that tip, and the, which because of what it is, jig worm rod, and just how sensitive it is, and I fish with braid. Maybe if I fish with fluorocarbon, fluorocarbon, it may be different. But man, we've come all the way to number 1, and it is the same one that it's always been since I got this rod and since I got this reel. And there's several reasons, and we'll talk about those. But can anybody guess what you're about to witness coming at you live? And let's get it to focus, and in living color, upside down even. It's the Megabass Blade F5 6'8", 3/8 to 1 ounce. This rod, oh my god, I think it's like 97 grams of pure bliss. It may not be the best for the bigger chatterbaits like the Z-Man Originals, any of those with the bigger. You can still do it. I will do it. You'll watch me do it and whatever, or you see me do it if you watch any of the old videos, or the big blade kind of thing. But for all your stuff, these 3/8 that I really like, and then the little mini maxes, this is my favorite rod and reel combo for that. But then it's a sensitive enough blank that also some of these smaller, the jigs and stuff. I like the Super Destroyer better for the 3/8, half ounce and bigger, but like 3/8 and down. What does that rating say? Yeah. Now this is it says 3/8 to an ounce, but I don't know. I think that's going a little overboard, in my opinion. Now like I said, it'll handle it, but the sweet spot is those, literally the 3/8, like a 3/8. In a half ounce, like hard type bait. I mean, it'll throw a lot of different stuff because the P5 blanks just kind of have a little more. I wouldn't call them like an MBR, but they just have a little extra give, yet still being stout. And then if you're curious, like, well, what you said combo, what reel is that? What reel is that? There's that nasty knob. Look at that. Oh, that cork is horrible. Oh, you gotta love it though. That thing is an identifier. I could spot this rod and reel combo a mile away. But of course, it's this reel. You guys knew it. You guys knew it. The New Zealand That's old now. What are they? 2, 3? How long is it? This newest Zillion been out? This is just the cat's meow of reel still. Why? Because if you go to AliExpress, you can still get it for about like 220 bucks or whatever they are. Now this one is it's all kinds of weird. Comes with the drag clicker, comes with the boost, comes with the hyperdrive, doesn't it? Yeah, I took this thing that says it hyperdrive off, but it's still in there. It's a little dirty right now. I'm going to talk about the negative because it's right there staring you in the face. The only downside to this reel, period, is the fact that this paint finish is probably as cheap as any reel you'll see painted silver. Probably even like that Lose or whatever, maybe like this or maybe tougher. Because this finish has not seen any... I think there might be a little nick there. I can't tell for sure. Yeah, I think that is a little nick. I don't know what. That was probably Charles did that. But all of this and all this from my thumb. And I know, I said I have dry skin. I guess it's like sandpaper, you know, you're catching bass or whatever. But just if your skin can completely rub that off. And that was in a short time. That was in months. It started that like shortly after I got this reel. But that's the only downside. Everything else... oh wow, I got it up to 4. I must have been casting hard. But yeah, the 4 setting with braid. Now, if you go to, if you guys don't know, usually the minute you add anything other than braid to a spool, you're going to make the spool heavier. Therefore, technically, you usually will have to up your, you know, because I think when I was running fluorocarbon on this, I was up at 6 or 8, somewhere in there. But if you're ever wondering, like, well, how can you run yours all the way down at 2 or 3? And if they're running braid, that's how. If you're running fluorocarbon is the heaviest line, I believe, and then mono is even lighter than fluorocarbon, nowhere near as light as braid. And then copolymer somewhere, I think, in between, I believe, is how that works. But I was up at Rogers, man. I almost had another one. Get this. Now, I should have bought it, but I just didn't because it was... They got my goat. They had a Zillion brand new up there listed for $199. I'm like, I want that. I was like, why are you guys selling that for? Well, I don't know. It's like we're having a sale. You guys know the deal. I bought all these other reels from Rogers, right? I'm like, I didn't even know that was on sale. I said, well, do you have it though? I said, what gear is that? And he's like, 6. I go, are they all on sale or just that one? He goes, I think they all are. Well, he didn't know. And I don't know why, but they were selling the 6 3-to-1, I think is what it was, not 6-8. I think it was 6 3-to-1. They were selling for $199. They had a couple 7 5-to-1s, 7 something to ones, and then the one, what this is, 8 5-to-1. And I said, yeah, I want one of those. So got up there, ring it out. No, that's $350, whatever. I'm like, no, it said it's on sale. So anyway, we go through a little hoopla about whatever. No, it's this one. You want it? I was like, nope, I don't want that. Probably should have bought it anyway, but I stick somewhere around the 7 or 8s. I like the 8s. I'll do the 7s. I just slow down to be versatile for everything. Like I talk about all the time about my combos. I want them to. That's kind of why the Poison Adrenaline fits where it does. It's just not as sensitive to these other ones. Kind of why if that Lose or that Dobbins don't fit the sensitivity criteria, they will slide down the line. I want bottom contact stuff. I want moving bait stuff. I want them to do everything. That's why when I showed you these NRX stuff, that's why they kind of, the Conquest and the NRX Plus small one went low is because of that sort of thing. They're super sensitive, but the NRX Pluses anyway, but they lose a little bit when it comes to some moving bait type stuff. You can still do it, but they're just a little behind on that. The jig worm rods from Loomis. They're more specific than a full all around. That's why, but I still, I had them, I sold them, and I'm like, I got to get those rods back because I need that sensitivity for that low end for sure, even over like the Destroyer P5s, because I feel for what I have now, I don't know about the Conquest. I have not fished it yet, but I've had the NRXs in the past, so the Pluses can't be. And from what I've heard, they're either just as sensitive. Some people may say they're more, but they're probably just as sensitive as the old NRXs. Those are most sensitive rods I've ever fished with. I would call the P5s right there behind them. I don't know about the other ones yet, but the Super Destroyer, the Poison Adrenas. Now I don't know about the brand new ones. This the older models, which I bought two of them. I have two of those Poison Adrenas. I like that 611 plus, medium plus so well. Those, they're just not as sensitive as the P5s. Is why I don't rank those higher. Now I know the Lose probably won't be for sure. I know that one won't be, but it was $100 rod, and I figured as long as it fits the bill. So we're gonna go to the baits now, but I want to finish up with, if I had to sell, it's like you gotta sell one of those combos. It's this dude. Sell, trade, whatever. Just like I mentioned, because this is this is like my least favorite everything, but it still feels awesome. That wind grip material, it is also a 6'10" medium heavy. Like I said, it feels like with this reel, and I balanced it also, took roughly the same amount of weight as what it's got a little shorter handle than the Elite TI, so it gives it a little bit longer at the end. But the overall, just sitting here filling it, it might be just a touch softer in the tip than that Elite TI. But this feels like a very good combo. Now I get out in the water and fish it, and if the sensitivity is just compared to the, whether it be the Elite TI or any of these other ones, this could be the one that, because that reel makes noise, it might be on the chopping block. But I've got $300 in it just the way she sets well, not counting the line and the dollar or whatever I added on the back to balance it. So it's pretty much balanced though. So maybe just slightly, no, it's right there where I like it. I let it drop, or I can bring this finger up. So it's a very good, a lot of people would love to have this combo, I'm telling you. Not that many years ago, I'd be very, very happy to have that, especially for $300. The reel just sells for $350 normally. The rod for like $189. Still a very good combo. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I was out there in the yard, like it'll throw everything those. Well, so from the ones I showed you, I literally have the two that are going to have, three that are going to have 10 pounds. So for my X Pride medium down, basically the 802 NRX, the 802 Conquest, and the X Pride are going to have 10 pound to 10 pound leader. Then you've got my NRX Plus 803 jig worm rod, the blade, the I keep wanting to call that Super Destroyer. Poison Adrena 611 medium plus will probably be the ones with 20 pound braid to a 15 pound leader, and probably both of the both of the Lose 6'10" medium heavies. They're gonna have 20 pound braid, 15 pound leader. Now, if I feel the need, I want to run 20 on one here or there. It's not that big a deal. I use P-Line Original. You guys know the deal with P-Line. Then from the Super Destroyer and the Dobbins are definitely going to have 20 pound braid, 20 pound leader. If I feel the need at some point, I want to go down to 15. If I feel the water's super clear wherever I'm at, and I'm like, I just probably be better off to run 15. But they're going to start out with 20 pound everything. Possibly the Elite TI might be there with them. I might just throw 20 on it. So I'll have those three for my heavier stuff. But then the Tequila back rack, I think when I got a 40 pound braid to a 30 pound leader. Not because I'm worried about catching some monster bass to the break line. I don't want to lose the big swim baits I'm throwing. So I'm not saying I couldn't snap that line, but when you're fishing braid to leader, sometimes you're better off to go a notch up on your braid anyway, because it'll still cast better than if you were running regular fluorocarbon or, copolymer. But then, play with your leader. I always run a leader. I know some people say you don't have to. You can tie braid directly on for a lot of different stuff, especially if the water's very dirty. But I just have always ran braid to a leader for over 10 years now. Maybe way longer than that. For the longest time. For a long time, been running braid to a leader. All right, let's move to, I was going to talk about this stuff real quick. If you're following the Bluegill Saga, not Sega Genesis, but Saga. I have decided, so if you remember right, I guess I should give a quick brush up. I ordered all these jig skirts off of Tackle Warehouse, and I've already weeded out some, and I've just thrown them in my bin of skirts that, not the Wayward Home for skirts or nothing. They're just ones that I either haven't used yet or I'm not going to use. But so if you follow the deal, when I got them all, I had that's a 6 cents. That's the Boss, what they call Bluegrass. This one isn't a bad one, but the fact that the one that they have out called Hollywood Craw has a few more color flavors in there for me. I'm not going to even mess with that one. This is the one from, where's this one from? Oh boy. I got the package somewhere. Yeah, these were the ones from this. Fresh Roadkill. Just the way it's all at the tips, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, so I've taken those out of the running right off the bat. And then the 6 cents one, which one was it? Oh, this one here, isn't it? Yeah, this one with that crazy intense orange, and it's called Custom Bluegill. I've decided, yeah, those are kind of on the outs now, so that we're left with 6 of them that I'm still got in the running. So I'm going to talk about those real quick, and then I'll show you some here in person. But this is a refresher for those of you guys. My favorite so far, once I got them on the jigs, on the chatterbaits, I mean, Bluegill 2 from Dirty Jigs. That color, it just has a more, like a natural with pop kind of feel that I don't feel like I need to touch it. And then the next one would be the Boss. This one they call Hollywood Craw. So the Bluegrass is like almost the same thing, but there's different shades of brown and green in the skirt material that just make this a better one for me. I like it better. And then we have the crazy on the whole other end that are almost out of the bluegill range. These are just kind of a goldish, very intense. The 6 cents Bluegill Fire. I'm not even sure if I'm going to like it on chatterbaits, period, maybe spinnerbaits. Don't know about this one yet either. It's crazy bright. Old school gill. And I'll show you some of these. And then these two I'm leaving in the mix, but honestly, these are, if one's going to work, the other one's going to work. They're almost identical, slight differences. We'll talk about Z-Man. I forget the name of this. They had a name for it, but other than just bluegill, because I think Z-Man has a couple different bluegill type skirts. But it's almost the same as this other Boss one that I forget the name of it. I think it's just called bluegill. But these are so close, but I'll probably leave them in the mix. We're going to end up with six total that will be battling it out. And I kind of put them here in the order of how I like them, just so I can grab them easy if I'm wanting to do something. So this is my just kind of made up area to keep my extra skirts, jig stuff, jigs material. But then I also have a little dinky box of just, if you guys remember right, I took off all those other different baits and different stuff. So loose, like half a skirt, loose individual strands, just for making them my own custom ones. I've got a little thing of that. So before we go to the bluegill, Brew Tank mentioned, hey Charlie, why don't you make a Fireball Chaturbate color? So now I bought a long time ago, I don't even know if I fished this bait yet. I bought this one, and this one actually could be just, yeah, that's Fireball right there, right? But I'm going to add something too. I'm going to change this up slightly, but I already kind of made myself two different, what I call Fireball. Because if you guys know what I'm talking about Fireball, I'm talking about the cinnamon whiskey, but it's not really whiskey. But Fireball, and all the packaging, it always has the dude spitting fire, devil, demon, whatever he is, and he's red. But then the packaging usually has like a yellow kind of behind it. So I took these that we just got, and I decided instead of tearing them up for the Bluegill deal, to leave them alone, and I pulled quite a bit of the red off the bottom. So this is my Fireball. Should I call it Fireball Bluegill and add a little bit of colors? I'm going to add some colors, but I also was playing around with the Z-Man bait, and I think I think this will catch a fish. So I cut up the gremlin, and I basically cut out the pinchers. Come with this I don't know, bubble thing in it. I cut that out, and then I basically turned them into pinchers just to give it to lighten it and change it up a little bit. If you guys know what I'm talking about, the gremlin doesn't quite look like that, but I think that will make a very decent trailer. And I'll probably cut some more up like that or similar and try them on jigs in maybe a different chat. Maybe it'll be better on the big blade or something. But I was just playing around, came up with that. That's my Fireball for Brew Tank Outdoors, which he also has a channel if you guys don't know, by the way. One of the colors I will probably add is just find a lighter brown, but this color I pulled out of that box I just showed you earlier. I may add a couple strands. That may be too bright. But I thought about adding a few strands of that to it. And one little trick, all you got to do, whoa, like you don't have to envision it. You can literally just kind of pull it to the side and add a couple strands, you know, just if you're curious. Now, I can't really do it here trying to show you guys. You could put a couple strands up, you know, would it look good in the red? Would it look good at the top? Would it, you know, whatever, just to, and I haven't really done that yet. I just kind of pulled that out earlier today. And so anyway, that's a little side note for Brew Tank. I am going to try to make a Fireball Chaturbate, which I've already done it. It was pretty simple. I just took that Chatterbait. I had way too much red going on. So it's kind of Fireball, but it's, it just kind of has a natural look to me with red. And this would be the time of the year, if I could be out there today, where that extra little red possibly could help, or maybe this dude. You know, you never know. So I also kept out a couple others that I'm going to change up to. I'm going to add some stuff. I have a few of these, like 3 to 5 of these that are just untouched, and I fish them just like this, with add an orange trailer or add a green pumpkin trailer, and then just, you know, to change the intensity of them. They slowly fade out over time. But these I am going to go ahead and do something. I'm not sure what, but I may try to add a couple peanut butter and jelly type colors, or just a couple bluegill type strands to the existing one to get something out of. So that's why those are also untouched. So the ones I just completely ripped up were the other ones of those you just saw that we got in the unboxing, and then I've decided on these are the ones that we're testing. Now some of them I already have rigged up. So my favorite one, once I got it on something, was actually this guy. I stuck it on my old jackhammer, and I just think that has a bright but natural look to it. Probably just stick a natural looking colored, probably, well, more than likely something like that on it, and just I think that's going to be a fish catcher. That's that green pumpkin, purple and gold flake baby rage menace. Now if you're the type that you like something bigger, you go with just a full-size Rage Menace. I may go ahead and just do that with this one because this is a 1/2 ounce. On my 3/8 ounce, I definitely like the smaller one. But hang on, I'll show you here. And I'll also show you this bait I've found that I forgot I even had them. But then I liked the my next favorite, and I ended up putting it because it came the closest to the old shell cracker that came on this one, was that Hollywood craw. I need to get that orange going this way, just a hair more. And I have not, nothing's finalized. I've just been playing with these and figuring out which way I want to go with what. Because also I may go ahead on the jackhammer one. I may go ahead and hand tie that and then just cut that whatever rubber band off. You look a little weird there, buddy. Anyway, this thing, it just has that natural kind of look, a little bluegilly. Now these, I just stuck this on to see what it looked like. I cut the head off of it, but I had these for I don't know how long, years now, just setting. These are an old Cabela's bag of I tried it just by itself as a swim bait, and honestly, I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but just the way that tail is by itself. So what I'm probably anticipating, I'm going to try it just without cutting it. I think I'm just going to cut the paddle part off, maybe leave the fork of it or whatever, and I think that'll make a good, since I already have them and the colors are, match up fairly decent, I think that'll be a good little trailer for some of our chatterbaits. Can't make myself like. So next in line was, okay, let's recap real quick. Dirty Jigs, Bluegill 2, Hollywood Craw, and then this was the 6 Cents Fire Gill maybe. So it is on, I got it on one of these somewhere, this one. I put it on my 5/8 ounce Thunder Cricket. And it actually, I just don't know. I'm trying to make myself like these. Once I put them on something, it just almost looks like too much. I haven't really even started playing with what trailer I put on this, but I'll have some crazy intense trailers I could put to just go with it, or I could tone it down a little bit, just by putting something more subtle on it. So I haven't decided if I even like this yet. The head is a little lighter, but I did take off the the skirt that it came with. I got it somewhere in one of these things I showed you. If you don't know, it's basically just a goldish type. But anyway, that may be good. So I think I'm just going to try it. Probably trim it up, take some of that yellowish chartreuse stuff off because it's already got enough blingy type stuff going on. I don't know. Probably put like one of these on it, just a mild trailer, and fish it. I'm debating on darkening the head slightly. It almost looks too light for this, but it's one of those I can always just go try it and then change it if something seems off, or I may change it before I ever hit the water. So then this one, I went ahead and stuck on this guy. That is insanely crazy. So the reason I'm going to leave it and try it, because in my opinion, like if chartreuse and white will work, why wouldn't this? So those times when maybe, it's just crazy, it's not really dirty water, but maybe, just starting to get dark, just starting to get daylight, and the water's a little more stained than you would normally think. Like this may pop and just draw them to hit it, because if they'll hit this in the spring kind of thing, or some color similar to that, or crazy chartreuse. I've seen bass just when they'll go nuts on over a color. So that's just one of those. It's got enough different colors that are crazy going on that it possibly, like a fire tiger, I would call this, if anything, a fire tiger bluegill. What color is this anyway? Yeah. Do I even know? I don't even know what color it is. Do it mold, wasn't it? Yeah, so that's this one. I don't know. Actually, it's growing on me the more I look at it. Is that old school gill? It was originally one of my favorites. But looking at them all up here in person, and I'll talk about that in a second. Depending on your water clarity or any given time you go out, because a lot of times when a natural color you may want to start there, but then if you get on a good bite, sometimes you go to that, and that's what kicks in, whether in numbers or the big one hits the crazy, brightest, loudest thing you got, that whoever's throwing that is getting the bigger fish. It just sometimes happens. And that's why I feel those two are the Sixth Sense one, Fire Gill, and then the old school gill. And then these two, I've got them on these baits, but these are the two that honestly I'm going to leave alone for this little test we're going to do and just try them first. But the first thing I would do on these is cut that whole belly of that yellow out. And I'd leave just a touch, just a tip of yellow on there. And then on these, I would definitely shorten a little bit. But then other than that, that's a, you know, it definitely is a good looking working bait other than those few intense colors. It's just your kind of your typical bluegill. That's what the Z-Man Big Blade has, the crazy orange. Like I definitely picked some of the orange out, but and then this is the basically the same thing just through Boss. If I had to pick one favorite over, I kind of like this one a little better than maybe the colors overall, just a little better than the Z-Man. The Z-Man's blue is a little maybe less intense, but the orange on the Z-Man's a little bit brighter orange. But if I had to really pick one, like it'd probably be this Boss one over the Z-Man. But they're so close. If they're hitting this, they're gonna hit that. If they're hitting this, they're gonna hit that. They're almost identical, kind of like what the bluegrass was to the Hollywood craw. They're so close. And then these two are roughly almost the same colors, just presented a little bit different way, except for the gold flashing stuff. But this has a hit more what I call purple, and then like a gold flashing. But they're, you know, sitting there looking at them, the intensity level of them they're pretty much the same. Like I would think if you get out there and they will hit this, they're surely going to hit that. And if they'll hit this, they might. If I had to call one brighter, just looking at them, that's the more intense one. But see, it's got the purple thing. They're very close. That's why I kind of have them as like, if I'm just going out and ones I'll try first, probably be my two favorite, but then I would step maybe even down from that. I may use one of these cut. Like if I feel like, yeah, I'm going to try to catch them on a bluegill chatterbait, but I think it's bright. They're wanting something more realistic. I may even go to one of these and cut a lot of the basically colors out of that. One downside to this bait or this skirt, there's really no way to change this skirt other than just pull the orange out. The way these are individual colors, like you tried to thin this down, you're not going to do much because it's already there. Like you would have to literally add a brighter color somewhere to it. So I can see the plus is if you went and bought, you know, the Z-Man or the Boss bluegill one. You could start there. You know, if you had a few, it comes like 5-pack, so you could have one rigged up kind of crazy bright and then peel some of these off and have one a little more toned down in order to change the skirt as the day went or whatever day you were out there with. There's not much going away from this. This is crazy bright, or I mean, it's crazy bright, so you're going to want probably not the crazy brightest days, but you never know. You don't know until you get out there and throw them. You guys know the deal on that. So anyway, as I get out of here, I've been playing around with trailer stuff because up at Rogers, they got and I'll probably go get the color. They've got the orange that I probably need anyway. But they've had these cheap soft plastics up there forever for like $7, $6.99, $7.99. Well, they're all cleared out half price. So there's like a 24-pack. So this was a 24-pack. I split them up. But yeah, these were $5.99 for 24. Now they're literally instead of $6, they're $3. I think that puts them at 24. That's like 10 or 15 cents somewhere in there a piece. The problem is, well, this color I'm kind of experimenting with. I'm doing some little cuts on it. It is so close to my the menace baits. So this one I cut. I left the center, but I just cut to kind of leave like antenna. And I may try that. This is a crazy color. You got like purple, blue, and gold. I wish the blue was. I wish this bait was a brighter pour, and then with that metal flake. Because I think if it was brighter, and, you know, it's just so dark. I'm not even sure what color that's supposed to be, but if it had a little more green tint to it instead of that darker color. But I also, you know, since I bought these, I'm going to try to play around. I kind of started cutting just the inside out to kind of give them instead of that much flappy stuff, more of a, well, I can't think of all the ones, but like the Zoom Z Crawl. There's several others out there that it's a little wider, a little longer, because my favorite to throw on most of them is that Baby Rage Menace. Let me try to get these out here so I can show you. And I don't know if it's truly profile or just it lets it jump around, and then here's a regular full size. And they even make like a Magnum. So this thing falls somewhere in between. So if you get it like it comes out of the package, it's way up here, like it's a bigger everything. But I think with that cut down, it may be closer to this, and you can always rig it. So when you cut that off right there, and then slim down the actual kickers, legs, whatever you want to call them, appendages, I figure I'll try that, and then what I'll probably do is just go buy a pack of the orange, because one thing I've found with these baits, like, I don't know, this just, that actually looks good. That looks better to me. Like, it looks like it should work. Maybe not this color. What color was that? Now, these are actually Rogers House brand. Like, if you look on these somewhere, they actually have them poured for them. And where is it? Somewhere it says it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to make that out. Somewhere on there, it actually has a little thing that says Rogers on the pour. So Rogers has these poured. I don't know where, who, how, whatever. Probably made in China. But Green Pumpkin Smash. And I guess you can kind of see hints where it is a green pumpkin, but it's just too dark. For me, I wish it was lighter. I'm experimenting because of the orange ones, because the craw colored, and maybe, hang on one second, and then I'm going to end this video. Let me see if I have any, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You wouldn't think that it's that complicated to find a good orange trailer. But I don't even know if I have any left. Let's see what I got here. Hang on. Hang on. Oh my God, I gotta pull out every one of these. Yeah, I think I just quit buying them because they suck. No, here they are. Here they are. Oh God, I'm making a mess. So although the Baby Rage Menace is my favorite one, you know, I've got this Royal or whatever they call that, Sapphire Blue or whatever. Awesome color for black and blue baits, this and that. This is my favorite by far. That Green Pumpkin, Purple and Gold Flake. The white, I don't know, there's a couple other colors. Awesome baits. And then if you just want a little bit bigger, just use the regular Rage Menace, the Baby Rage Menace. Cover most of my trailers, especially on chatterbaits. My favorite thing to put on chatterbaits. But then you get to looking for like an orangish one, right? And that Rage Baby Menace Crawdaddy is the only one that they offer with any kind of orange. It just sucks. Let me pull the whole thing out of it. Like, I went through, I think it was at Rogers, they had, I don't know how many packs. And I went through and dug out like 8 or 10, pulled them out and then kind of went through them. And this was a pack, I'm sure that there was probably a couple that had more orange. But like if you look at that, the pour is like horrible. It's mainly black with just a hint of orange hits, but I want the orange at the tips primarily. And I know somebody's saying just buy the whatchamacallit and dip them or all that, but I'm like, surely somebody somewhere makes something. So anyway, the orange ones at Rogers do have that way more orange. So I'm thinking about just buying I'm thinking about buying all the orange ones they got left up there and then just cut them down. If I can make myself like the action, the way they work on cutting them legs a certain way. Because the Crawdaddy, not impressed with this. And it may just be me, but I feel like when I'm out there, because I've tried them, I put one on, if it's dark, almost black, and there's almost no orange, like I just feel the hits slow down or stop. And then if I take my time, like, okay, let me get something with some orange on it, just like the day that I made, where's this contraption at? This horrible contraption right here, believe it or not, like, there was a day where orange was working, and man, that thing on the back of whatever, I don't even remember what I had it on now. Maybe it was just one of these small ball head jigs, but man, that was it. Now I know I've got a few of those. I should rig one up and stick it on that thing. It's a crazy, like a 6-inch. It's a bigger swim bait that I got from somewhere off AliExpress. But anyway, I'll end it there. I was gonna maybe show you guys putting some of these together. So I've already got two together. The two here, we're gonna put them all on 3/8. So the two, basically just regular bluegill pattern ones are already rigged up. So we've got the Z-Man bluegill, the Boss bluegill, and then these 4 new. Those are actually used. These are 4 brand new that I cut the deals off 3/8. One does have slightly different head like what this one does. That one's a whole different color, but I don't think that part matters. So these 2 are already pre-rigged. I haven't cut or anything on them, so I'll pull those back out and put them probably right there for now. So I'm going to rig these 4 up on these 4 heads, untouched, but then I'm not going to fish these yet. I'm going to take these baits and do whatever. These I will just start, once I get out and start fishing, they'll go with in my normal rotation of all my other bluegill chatterbaits, all my other chatterbaits, all my other swim stuff. Same thing with the Fireball stuff over here. And I will also be able to compare. I think I'm going to put a Dirty Jigs on this one. So I'll take one of these and put it on this guy, and then I'll be able to basically be fishing almost the same thing and compare those. And I may also pull out another. I got another, the Bee Height Delight jackhammer. I'm thinking about, it's so chewed up. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but it's still on the original skirt. I think I'm going to cut it off and put one of these on it, and then I'll basically have both my favorites on 2 different styles once I get out there fishing, kind of like a sub little comparison. But then if I get on any kind of a bluegill bite, these will come out and then try to decipher if is one better than the other. So I've already got a video out if you wanted to go watch it. It's from a few years back. I was messing with Chatterbait blade colors. It was roughly the maybe first or second year I started using black and blue with the gold blade. So we basically went out there and I tried the black and blue with the gold blade, with the black blade, and with the silver blade. But during that same time, because they were just hitting chatterbaits, I also tried, I think it was chartreuse and white chatterbait. I tried more of a green, I don't remember the exact color name, but more of a natural colored chatterbait along with those while I was fishing them. And just all you have to do is Google, or not Google, go to, if you're on YouTube now, go to the search bar, bass, bonsai, and then chatterbait color, and that video will pop up. I'm in like this old blue shirt. Or not shirt. I'm in a blue like raincoat looking thing with I think it's got red stripes down the sleeves. I know I was very fashionable back then, but you'll see that, come across that video, and you can watch that. I'll tell you the spoiler alert. I'll tell you the results. The black and blue was just, it was what was working. I caught fish on all the different color blades. The black and blue was working. I don't think I don't think I caught another fish on the other colors, period. And I like what I would do. I'd be going down the bank. I'd try one for like 10 minutes and then I'd switch. And then if I caught a fish, I would kind of stop and then I would try like all the other colors or baits or blade colors. And then I got to a spot where I was, it just after that hour of fishing when I knew they were hitting. And if you throw a bait for like 15, 20 minutes when they're hitting and then you put it down, pick up another one, and like when the first 3 to 5 casts, you catch a fish on the other one, they're not wanting it near as much as that one. So that day, the black and blue chatterbait is what they wanted. The blade color of that chatterbait didn't matter. And then back then I had I don't know if I don't think I'd started fishing with jackhammers. I think it was all Z-Man original stuff. But then I did another video on color in muddy water, dirty water. And then I had a bunch of different, I had some Picassos, some jackhammers. I wasn't really comparing those as much as I was trying different colors. I think I had one of these in a bluegill color. And I was just seeing what color, works best in that less than a foot. So it was probably 8 inches, 10 inches. Just the bait, you couldn't even see the bait anymore. That's how muddy it was. It wasn't quite chocolate milk, but it was not good. And I was really surprised that I did as good as I did that day for the way the water worked. But then it was black and blue along with chartreuse and white, like intensely. It was like both ends of the spectrum, about as dark as you can get to as light. I caught a couple on that. All the other chatterbaits in between, because the Picasso I had was more of a naturally color. I think it was even had a little white on it. It was kind of a lighter natural. And then I had some bluegill and then some more toned down chatterbaits. Nothing. I couldn't get nothing on any of those, but I did catch some on black and blue, and then a couple on the chartreuse and white. So visibility's out the window. I would go as long as you have some visibility, like anything 6 inches to close to a foot is probably where the black and blue is going to go, or the white. I think if you get, I don't know if it even matters if you have true chocolate milk, but I think a chatterbait period, a fish is going to come in on it. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just they miss the dulled down colors, so they either aren't right on it or they're a little leery and then they don't commit to it. But for whatever reason, that solid dark color, once they're because they have to get within range before they even see it, then they just, oh, there it is. Or that white is the same way. Once they come in, that bold, solid to the ends of the spectrums, black and white, right? And they just jump on it. Because it was one of those days where they weren't biting that great, but they were biting. But I think you had to get it within range of them. And then I think when they got within range and could see, if they could see it at all, I think they would eat it. But I just don't think they could see the other ones in the time it took me to swim by. Because I was catching them on bottom bouncing stuff. I was on the other end. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the shallows where it's grassy. And I'm going to try to catch them on chatterbait and do this video on the colors. So I'm sure if I had a black and blue jig, probably even a green pumpkin with some bright orange, jig down there. Maybe, other colors could have come into play, but something moving by them that you have to run a jackhammer, any chatterbait at a certain speed, and I don't even know what. I think back then I may still fished everything was half ounce. When I bought a chatterbait, I bought half ounce chatterbait. So there's pretty much one speed. That's one thing about most of these. The Z-Mans, the Jackhammers originals, if you want to change where it rides at the speed you're retrieving it at, you go with weight pretty much. You get the bigger ones, you can go faster and they'll ride a little lower. Any of those, you get a 1/4 ounce or like the Mini Max and a 1/4 ounce. If it'll let you go slow and you're going to be not getting real deep. If you can go real slow with most any chatterbait, it takes a certain speed to get the blade to go, but the heavier it is, the deeper it's going to be running while it's going to that real creeping slow pace. So if you're trying to, in other words, go with the weight of the head as to what range height whether it be grass or bottom that you have. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And I'm hoping I still got to run somewhere. I may go to Shields. I may go to Walmart. Should I go to Shields or should I go to Walmart? I don't know if Shields even sells fishing license, but I got to get a fishing license. I may go to, I don't want to go to Bass Pro. I may go to Bass Pro or Walmart and get a fishing license, but I wanted to go to Shields, but I don't even know if they sell fishing license, and I do need to get that for sure. I may go to both, maybe go to all these places. But I'm going to try to get out tomorrow on the water somewhere fishing, and I know I got private places I could go, but they're further out. There's several areas right around here that I can just go to within 10, 15 minutes, but I know if I just showed up and like, I'm just, cast testing, I'm not fishing, I'm going to get a game. Somebody's going to show up and I'm going to get arrested with no fishing license. I'm going to get Ben, whatever his name is. So I need to go buy the fishing license for the year anyway. So I might as well get it done out of the way. That way, Monday, Tuesday, whatever days, I'm going to try to get out to some of these places, testing the rod and reel combos, just probably a lot of different stuff. I've got other baits that I haven't even tried that aren't even skirt related. You guys know the deal. And other soft plastics, some different jigs and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be peanut butter and jelly bluegill time somewhere. So as I get out of here, there's my nasty black and bluegill. I was starting to attempt. I think I'm going to scratch this project and try something else. But part of me says the minute you make something, you should at least go try it. But it just looks too dark and nasty. But sometimes them big old girls like dark and nasty is all I got to say. So I don't know if I should try that or not. I'm tempted. It just does not look good. But man, it may work. It's just a few strands of different hints of black added and then some of that crazy orange taken out of that 6 cents. I mean, that could actually catch a fish. I may just leave that and try it, but that's not my final black and bluegill. So we're working on the bluegills, and then I'm coming up with my own custom Fireball, and some version of black and bluegill will be coming up. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Get out, go bass and bonsai, but whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it, even if it takes getting a little thing of Fireball. See you later.